Laugh out loud, it's the place to be, where geeky minds meet so naturally. From pixel legends to blockbuster heart, dive right in, let's set this vibe apart.
このはボタカリバーガーです。そして、
Yes.
テープサイズが何ですか？
はい。
S サイズ、M サイズ、L サイズ。はいはい。
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing, everybody?
Man, I didn't even get to the price, man. I called the place Rip Off Burger. You know what? Actually, if you did do a Japanese burger style place, you should call it Botakari Burger. Because no one's gonna know what that means.
I didn't know what you meant whenever you were saying anyways. I just eventually I just went and said, if I keep saying yes, he's probably saying something that's like making me sound stupid. So I'm just gonna stop saying yeah. And just be like,
So I'm thinking like Botakari Burger, that sounds really catchy. But Botakari is really a mean way of saying rip off. Something's a rip off. Which actually goes in line with a sushi place I have in this area. Sushi place is called Mama Sushi. So you think, oh, Mama Sushi. It's like my mama. She makes the sushi. The ironic thing is mama in Japanese is so-so. So would you really want to go to a place called So-So Sushi?
I mean,
And it's questionable if you live.
yeah, many have eaten here, only few have died.
Yeah.
That's a slogan for dying around here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take a gamble at that one.
Actually, the place burnt down. It's actually pretty sad. So it definitely was like my favorite diner too. But
on that note, let's go to good news. We have a new month coming up after this weekend.
yes,
A new month. That's exciting, which means new topics.
we have the month of May. The month of April. We know the month of May. That's coming as well. I'm thinking ahead. I'm planning vacation.
Yes.
The month of April. Yes, we are coming into the month of April. Easter is this Sunday.
Easter is this Sunday. Our topic for Easter.
The ever changing day of when Easter is. Don't get me started on that. Like has to do with like it's so many days after the first full moon or something like that, and I'm like, that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost this is supposed to be the day that we talk about the resurrection of Jesus, so that the day he resurrects changes. What? Huh?
Well, the thing is, so I believe it was based off of a different
Exactly.
holiday, which would have been associated with the moon and fertility.
Yes, it was a pagan holiday. It's the spring festival, just like Christmas was the winter fest. These are days that they were picked, and I believe this is when when the Romans were becoming Christian, they had a whole discussion about it, and they're like, "Well, we have to we got to keep our pagan citizens happy, so we'll keep their religions. We'll just put a new coat of paint on it and call them Christian religions." And Christmas and Easter kind of came out of that. And
And we'll convince people that
if you are yelling at me and you are disagreeing with me, please do some effing research, because my pastor will tell you the same thing. And he got the pastor of 1,100 people. Okay.
and also that's also the time of year where we're convinced that rabbits lay eggs.
Yes. I mean, granted, like if you go to my church, he'll mention it. He ain't gonna preach on the fact that these holidays were made up, but he's not gonna go and start slamming Easter or anything, because that's not the point. It's the point is that these holidays, yes, if you want to poke a hole in it, there is no hole. We know about the hole.
I actually no, I'm thinking now Easter is the celebration of thievery because
He robbed the grave.
rabbits steal the eggs.
Oh, I think that he robbed the grave. Okay, never mind.
So we're celebrating the theft of other species.
There's an episode of South Park where they try to explain the Easter Bunny. It is so funny, and it ends up becoming that Apostle Peter, who is considered to be the first pope.
Mhm.
If you didn't know that, Peter the Apostle, also known as Simon, is considered to be the first pope of the Catholic Church. And the theory, according to South Park, is that he actually is Peter Rabbit.
That's funny you'd say that because I actually personally asked Peter that and he denied it 3 times.
You deny knowing that rabbit?
Yes, he did.
I don't know that rabbit. Well, you know what I do know? I do know that you folks have a lot to say about our movie reviews. And
But before we get to any of that, dude, I still have to go over the schedule.
well, we'll do this first. You know about it.
Oh my god, we're so unorganized. We're like,
Already started it.
come on, man. What are we doing now? I don't even know.
We're doing either regurgitate, or if you really want to do the schedule, we'll do the schedule.
No, let's regurgitate first. Okay.
I'm actually really good at
There's probably just that section of people that come to our episode at the very end of the month just to hear the schedule, and we're gonna make them wait.
Well, yeah, because then they'll turn off the show after they hear the schedule, and they'll hear this part too, and it'll help with the algorithm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this past week, a couple days ago, I'm on the toilet in the morning. I'm flipping through the news, and I see something that says something about a new show called The Koreans is coming to South
Wait, I have
Korea.
a question about that. Really, very important question at this point.
Yeah.
Was it number 1 or a number 2?
Well, if I'm reading through the news, I'm not a lawyer where I'm going to piss and read at the same time. So
Okay. All right. So everybody who are fans of taking dumps are satisfied right now. It's like that it's like the taste great less filling group.
well,
Drop D's.
we are the BM show. So and I tweeted this thing called The Koreans, and I'm reading about it, and they're saying that it's pretty much a remake of The Americans, but done as Koreans. And I was like thinking about it, and then I went to work, and then I'm like, let me make a quick video about this. So I go and I make a quick video, and apparently I did a horrible description of The Americans, which I did. This was a 2-minute video. I am doing a very quick pitch because I'm trying not to talk about that. I'm trying to talk about the show that's based on the same thing. I'm trying to talk about the Koreans, really, but I have to describe the Americans real quickly to make my point. So if you haven't heard the thing, here it is. The Americans was a show that was on FX like 10 years ago. It ran for about 6 seasons, about this undercover KGB agents who are a married couple. They actually have kids while they're in America, undercover. And it's a whole thing of over the 6 years, they slowly they're not as evil as you would think because remember, like a good villain always thinks they're doing the right thing. These people are 100% brainwashed into thinking they were doing the right thing, but they're actually good people. If that makes any sense. So they show them like they love their kids, they take care of them. They're conscientious about their neighbors and all this other stuff. That there's like good quality to these people, but they're also at the same time Russian spies. And so that you get this whole thing if you're kind of rooting for the bad guy, even though it's the bad guy type of thing. Well, the Koreans are going to be doing the same thing, except these are going to be North Korean spies who are going to be in South Korea, probably in Seoul, I would guess. And it's during the 90s, and it's going to be like the same thing where you're going to be kind of rooting for the bad guy type of thing, even though you're not supposed to. Usually there's a lot of cat and mouse elements in the Americans where they're about to get caught, and then they do something and they don't get caught. Or there was a bust and something happened to stop them from going to the place where the bust happened, or something like that. It's all these like happy accidents that happen so that our main characters never get into trouble.
Okay. So we're gonna move on because
You
man,
don't hear more about the Americans, is this great show that was on 10 years.
I'd love to hear more about the Americans. I'd like to clear off the whole schedule for today and talk nothing about the Americans for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch it again. I don't remember that much. I remember the daughter was cute. So what your schedule look like?
If you want to wipe this whole schedule and have Ben have to talk about the Americans for the rest of the year, please like and subscribe and comment. You know what? Just subscribe. If our numbers go up at all this week and any subscribers, if they go up by just even one, Ben is now dedicated himself to watching The Americans weekly and talking about it.
No,
Thank you, Ben.
nope. So, what's going on for the month of April? I gotta update my picture. I think I've lost weight since this animated picture was made of me. Anyways, what's going on for the month of April?
So for the month of April, since we're celebrating Easter next week, we are going to definitely go into the folklore of Easter. This is going to be fantastic. This is one that you're probably going to want to get your family together for because it's going to be a very educational episode. Ben and I are going to be talking about our favorite Easter candies.
Yes, you definitely want to get the children to sit around the radio or whatever you listen to us on.
Hold off on taking them to school, even though this like shows up on Sunday nights. But yeah, you don't need to go take them to school for Easter because, well, first off, Easter's on a Sunday. If you're taking your kids to school on Sunday, you are an evil parent. Well, I guess Sunday school, so you're probably not an evil parent then.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's going to be next week, the 12th of April. So this is going to be in celebration for tax day. What is it? The tax submission day or whatever they call it. I don't know. It is tax day. So we're going to do a topic related to the feeling you get when you're paying your taxes. We're going to be doing 3 movie reviews. The reviews are going to be a Bloodsport, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
After that, for the 19th, we've been tossing this around. We're going to do it. We may actually have a special guest with us joining, which would be Barrett of the BM Squared. We'll be talking about authors, books, porno mags, comics, any reading literature. You know, we're going to be talking about Ben sitting on the crapper, learning about the Koreans on that episode as well too. Work. I don't know where I said that. Written literature topic.
Yeah,
And then
so, like, if you like to read, it doesn't necessarily have to be a book. You could be like, "Oh, I really like this one particular magazine," which, like, you still read magazines. Okay, that's cool.
we could talk about reading what they wrote on the stall of a bathroom for a good time called Jenny type of stuff.
Oh, I had some Rodney Dangerfield on earlier. He was on TikTok. One of the jokes he was like, "Yeah, when you walk into the men's room and you see your own phone on the wall."
Mhm. And then for the 26th, we are going to go to games, but it's not just going to be games. It's called Why Am I Still Doing This? So this is games and movies that you just have to finish. You have to get through them, but you're not really enjoying them. For some reason, you got to do them. Usually, this is where you will hear Resident Evil and Final Fantasy pop up. I'm sure they'll both be there.
Yeah, possibly. There might be a certain game in there, yeah, maybe.
No, I can guarantee it just thinking about what I would talk about.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're going to show up. So that's that. So now, I do want to do kind of a review speak, regurgitate. I just closed out the comments. I do want to give a thank you to somebody who went on to one of our, I believe it was a short of Edge of Tomorrow, and mentioned the literature that's based on, even though Ben did it, but when do I even listen to Ben?
Yeah, he goes and he messages me and is like, "Dude, did you know that the day after tomorrow's name is based off of this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I talk about it in the doobly thing that I do in the beginning." And he's like, "Oh, we'll call."
I figured I'd just catch it when it came out on short, which I did. You guys,
And then I took it out of the short because usually the shorts. I mean, I'm not gonna leave in like what the thing's based off of unless that's like the point we want to make.
see, that's your bad. You got what you deserve then. So, this person mentioned that it's based off of a novel called All You Need Is Kill, which I knew was based off a novel. I didn't know the name of it, But what I didn't know is that there was a manga version of, or I'm sorry, I gotta say this like Ben. There was a Magna version of it. Sorry, Ben. That's all forever gonna live on. So there's a Magna version of All You Need Is Kill that I went onto eBay and found the full thing for like $18.
Nice.
Not bad. And it's only like 440 pages or something like that. So I decided, I ended up getting it on Friday night. Of course, I'm working at the time. I figured I'll read half of it Saturday, half of it Sunday. I sat down and read the whole thing on Saturday. Now, what I want to say about this, if you're a fan of Edge of Tomorrow, and if you can stand manga, and if you can stand Magna, I would recommend getting this. It's not going to break your bank, and you'll get through it within probably like an hour and 15 minutes or whatever, just reading it. Um, but it's good. It's really good. And it does have enough significant differences to make it worth it. So if this is really what the novel is, we definitely Americanized it, but we Americanized it in a good way to where it makes both of them worth reading, or both of them worth reading and watching, maybe I should say. There's a couple things I liked about this that I don't want to spoil the ending, but the ending, how it works out in the ending, it's very different than Edge of Tomorrow because it's very Japanese.
Mm.
Um, and that whole Japanese anime manga mindset that we as Americans aren't used to because we like rainbows and roses and buttercups at the end of movies. So yeah, I'm not gonna spoil the end, but definitely look forward to a really interesting end. One thing that I really liked about it that is so minor, but it's such a nice touch that they ignored in the movie was the main character gets the point where he's marking the number of loops on his hand each morning. So you'll see a picture and you'll realize, okay, so he's on loop 7 now. And then next he's on loop 43. And so forth. And it gives it kind of a nice touch because you realize how much he's tracking. And um
It's kind of like one of those video games where you keep getting stuck at the same spot
yes.
and you have unlimited lives, but every single time you start your life, you have to start from the very beginning again, and you got to go through the whole fucking game.
Yes. Actually, a good Street Fighter story is I was watching my buddy play Street Fighter one time, and it tracks the number of battles you have, and he got all the way to Bison without losing it to anybody. I could not stop laughing when it's like battle 62, and he was getting so mad at me. But for some reason, it was just so funny how many times he fought Bison before he finally won. And then you win that one, you're like, yeah, I did it. But you realize that you probably just got lucky and you didn't probably improve, but still just
She's what's going to cost you.
yeah, that's true. We got a lot of money.
Yeah, you're gonna be paying if you're at the arcade. That's a lot of quarters.
Yeah, this was a Super NES version. So
Okay,
from the oh,
that's better. I think you were like at the arcade watching them play, and it's like they just putting quarter in after quarter after
no, no, in arcade for me, if once I lose, I'm done. I don't continue. Because they usually the characters you start with are warm-ups, and then it starts beefing up the difficulty, or maybe I should say the computer starts cheating more.
Hmm.
Um, and I realize it's just more beneficial to start back at start and then just keep going forward. Um, but getting back to All You Need Is Kill, um, I do like the fact that they tracked it, because it kind of gives it this more realistic, like he wants to know like how long he's there and how long it's going to last or whatnot. I definitely love that. Um, I was gonna say something else, and then we tangent to Street Fighter, which is a shame. But yeah, oh yes, I remember what it was. This one thing this book does that's really cool that Edge of Tomorrow doesn't is it brings in the butterfly effect. Um, I guess, side effect. Because if you remember on Butterfly Effect, whenever he went to a new time, all of a sudden those memories would pound in his head and he'd start getting a bloody nose.
Oh.
Well, in this one, the more time loops go, he evidently starts getting affected by it and starts getting migraines. So the more loops he's doing, the more it's affecting his overall physical condition. So I thought that was a nice touch to it.
That is a nice touch because you think about it with like, if nothing happened, it'd be like, okay, well, this is like a superpower then, which,
Yeah.
like in the butterfly effect was kind of like presented the same way, like he was born with this superpower. But God, that would be a messed up comic book, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got the latest issue of the butterfly effect. Oh, there's child rape.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how, yeah.
It's like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
So basically, I'm gonna jump out here, and obviously, I'm giving this a thumbs up. And I really recommend if you're a fan of Edge of Tomorrow, if you can get through manga, um, definitely read this. Get it. It's not too expensive. Give it a read. It's worth it. And the ending will definitely be worth it. The way that it has to work out,
Mm,
it's gonna surprise you.
yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed those and that you went ahead and did a Mike Does It, so you don't have to. So,
No, it's a Mike does it, and so should you.
it depends.
No, Ben's the only person that needs to suffer in the world.
Sometimes it does feel that way. Uh, s- so, what's next on the agenda? What are we doing here?
Okay, so now we're gonna get to our main topic, I believe.
Ah, okay. Let me pull that up. I actually forgot what we're doing.
Main topic. And we didn't even discuss the order we're gonna do this. I hope it's kind of evident. I'll just tell you what we're doing. You know what? And I don't even have the pictures. My gosh, we are so unprepared.
I know. I know. Well, we missed last week, so at least we're here.
I think that we need, in order to give enough time for me to get these pictures, I think you need to explain the Americans again.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to talk about the thing I bought.
Oh, that's right, the package.
Okay, so this package was from California. This was not from Mike. I ordered something off of eBay. And it took 3 whole weeks to get here. It went from California to Alaska to Washington State, and then it made its way to Connecticut and made its way to me. And what this is a non-TMSS Sega Genesis. What is TMSS? That is Trademark Security System. That is when you turn on a Sega Genesis and it says this game is produced by or under license by Sega of America. The non-TMSS version doesn't do that. It just starts the software. And they're the more desirable Sega Genesis consoles. So I finally got it. I hooked it up. I played a total of maybe 20 minutes on it because it uses the piece of hardware that I need to use for something I'm doing for a project I'm using for work. It uses the same piece. It uses the retro tank. I'm using a retro tank to capture VHS video if you want to know what I'm doing. And the retro tank, I have it hooked up to my computer right now and not to the TV. And as long as I've got a video playing, I can't play video games because I can't use it on the retro tank. I need the retro tank is to display the Genesis properly on my TV. That said, during the 20 minutes I did play it, I did realize I probably should get the caps replaced because there's jail barring that happens on a Genesis Model 1 anyways, but the jail barring is pretty bad on Sonic the Hedgehog. So I'm like, I could either do a triple. The real cure is to get a triple bypass, which sounds like a medical thing. And what the triple bypass is this is an upgrade for old Genesis hardware that gets rid of the jail bars. And if you have a Model 2, it will fix it so that you have better sound out of it. But it changes the DIN connection. I bought an RGB cable. I could buy another one. They're only like $30, but still, I don't want to throw away the $30 to go buy another RGB SCART cable to use for DIN 9 when I just bought one for DIN 8. which is what the original Genesis Model 1 has. But what's that?
Oh, sorry, I just had to go din din din
Din.
din din.
Time for dinner?
Aircon, man.
That tape is done.
Yeah, I destroyed that one.
Destroyed it. Yeah, so that's what I bought. So Mike, I don't know. Let's do Lord of the Rings first, since I already have the stuff up for it.
Dude, I had it the other way around.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll pull it the other one.
Yeah,
I was talking and I wasn't typing, so hold on. Let me put that other one in.
that's okay because I got to introduce the topic because you just kind of spoiled it. So tonight we were talking about the topic we were going to do last time, but unfortunately something tragic happened. And one of us was unable to make it to the show. Thankfully, that person is fully healthy and survived the audio onslaught. I don't even know if that, dude, I don't know if that concert you went to was good or bad.
Oh, I can talk about the concert real quick if you want to kill.
Yeah, go ahead and talk. Are you gonna? Can you do that while you're getting up the?
I have it. I already have it up. Yeah, I went to go see Pure Prairie League, which I never heard of the band before, but apparently I have heard of their song Amy. That's Amy, what you gonna do? I'm so in love with you. If you know that song, that's the band who made it is called Pure Prairie League. And they are a 70s bluegrass band. None of the original members are in the band anymore. We missed seeing the last original member by about 3 months. He just left the band.
Oh,
But then I'm thinking if they had any original members, they probably wouldn't have done the Thomason Opera House. Yeah, so it was a decent show. When you go to a show and you don't know the band, you really have no expectations whatsoever other than the fact you know it's gonna be bluegrass. You know they're gonna have a steel guitar, which they did. They had a steel guitar. The steel guitar player was really good. And they were just a decent band. They seemed like they were having fun. And when the band's having fun, it usually translates to the audience. And like I said, it was a good show. Would I recommend going to see them? If you like bluegrass, if you like classic Southern rock, go for it. If you're not into that, then you are not gonna have a good time watching these guys. Also, 'cause you might be the like youngest person in the room, depending how old you are. Because I am 46 years old, and I was one of the youngest people in the room.
gotcha.
Yeah, and you also get to see some older gals when they go and dress up and try to be sexy. Like
You get to get Krugerfied.
you can get cougar-fied. There was one woman there, she kinda, afterwards, she was complaining about her back or something, which was kind of a turn off, but I'm like,
And what did you do to her to injure her back?
"You really pulled yourself together for this show, you're looking good." And she's like,
What position did you have her in, Ben?
"What's that?"
What position did you have her in?
I didn't say
Into her back.
Oh, jeez. I was walking down the stairs, and she was with her people, and she was just talking about she was complaining about how she wanted to go home, and she was tired. She sounded like
With her crew?
she sounded like an old person. What's that?
With
her
her crew?
Yeah, they went with people. I don't know. I didn't sit there studying these fucking people. I'm walking towards the door. I wanna get out of there. This concert's over. I wanna go home.
Dude, Ben, you missed your opportunity. You could have got tons of digits that feed to beepers. And when I say beepers, I make it meaning like beep, beep, life alert. I need assistance.
Are we ready to do these movies?
We're ready. Okay, I still need to talk about what we're talking about. So today we are doing the Battle of the Fairy Tales. Battle of the literature of the bookified legends.
It's the battle of the fantasy movie series that got turned into movies. Fantasy book series that got turned into movie series.
And the best part about this is the two movies that we're doing, the authors that wrote the books were actually really good friends.
I believe that.
That's the crazy part.
Mm.
And so what we're going to be talking about, and the way we're going to talk about this is we're not just going to review them. These are movies that are a series of movies. And based off of the first one, we're going to talk about our feelings on continuing with the series. Now, we haven't talked the order we're going to do this, which is our bad because we were unprepared, but we do know the order in which we're going to do the movies. Ben, for the first one, you get to go first. And for the second one, because that's a special situation where I did one version, you did another, I'll go first since I did the regular version.
So to give you, if you haven't figured out the movies we're doing yet, because I think we mentioned it a few times, but if you missed it and you want to take a guess, both of these movies were mainly produced in one particular country. Was that country A, Brazil, B, New Zealand, or C, Canada?
I'm going with D. These films were never produced.
Okay, Mike says D, and everybody at home, put your answer in. Is it A, B, or C? The answer is B. New Zealand is both of these movies. One of them was completely recorded in New Zealand, and the other one, a lot of parts were recorded in.
So the movies that we're doing, the first one is based off of the C.S. Lewis series. We're doing the first in that series, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. After that, the next movie, you may have never heard of it. It's pretty obscure.
Yeah, it's
This
a
one,
really obscure film. Based on this book series that like I've never heard of. Go ahead. Like, what is it?
it's from this author, J.R. Tolkien, and it's called The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. So
Fellowship.
those are the two movies we're going to be talking about today.
Hmm. Never heard of the Fellowship of the Ring. There's some guy yelling at me. It's one of the most popular movies of all time, you idiot. How do you not know about this? I don't know what sarcasm is.
Dude, have you heard of this? Well, it reminds me there's other series that's really obscure. It's called Star Wars. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, yeah. I think we might talk about that in May.
That's true. That's coming up. You got a point there. So with that done, Ben, you get to. Oh, I gotta share my screen, don't I?
Yes.
Forgot about that one. Now, Ben, it's up. You get to talk about it, and then you get to start it.
The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a 2005 epic fantasy film directed by Andrew Adamson. It is based on the 1950 novel The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. Not Sis Lewis or whatever you called it. And is the first it's released in let's try it again. And is the first released installment in the Chronicles of Narnia film series. The film stars Georgie Hanley, Gandler Kine. Oh wow, these are some weird names. Skander Kynes, William Mosley. I think people tune in just to hear me screw these names up. Anna Popplewell and Tadell Swinton. James McAvoy, Jim Broden, and Liam Nielsen provide the voice of Aslan. During World War II, siblings Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy are executed. Executed all the kids.
Leave that. You got to leave that in when you do the short.
They were evacuated from London to the countryside. While exploring their new home, Lucy discovers a magical wardrobe that leads to the land of Narnia, a world frozen in eternal winter under the rule of the White Witch Jadis. Lucy befriends a faun named Mr. Thomas and initially intends to betray her, but ultimately helps her escape. When Lucy tells her siblings, only Edmund follows her into Narnia at first, where he encounters the White Witch, who manipulates him with a promise of power and enchanted Turkish delight. I don't want to go through the whole story, but yeah, that's how the movie starts off. They're stuck in Narnia and they end up saving the day. It's got a lot of religious undertone to it.
Go, Ben.
Okay. I've seen this movie one other time. I actually do really enjoy this film. They're now watching it. When I watched it before, I wasn't like a practicing Christian, and I was a practicing Christian watching it and just seeing like, oh yeah, they really do like the whole resurrection, and then he comes back to life. Like what? So Aslan's Jesus, apparently. They talk about like seduction in a way. It's not really done seductively. So it's Edmund, who I mentioned. Edmund runs into the White Witch, and the White Witch kind of like seduces him in a way. And she's got this whole thing of it's those people who are like kind of bipolar personality types, or one minute they're really nice to you, and the next minute they're rude and mean, but then they're nice to you again, and then they're mean again, and they're back and forth.
They're called ex-girlfriends.
Yeah, that too. That is what this white queen is all about. She is constant, and it's always about her trying to manipulate. It's all out of manipulation. She's not doing this because she legitimately has bipolar disease. She literally is trying to screw you over. And he falls for it. She goes and gives him candy or toffee or some crap. I don't know. She has some magic, or she makes candy show up out of nowhere. And he's eating the candy while telling her all the information she wants to know. And then later on, he's like, "You told me to come see you. You didn't bring your siblings." And apparently there's a whole thing of more religious undertones of apparently there's a prophecy that these 4 kids are gonna come, just like there was a prophecy of Jesus coming. And there's all this stuff that's happening according to the prophecy, and people are like my favorite characters in the whole thing were the gophers. Or were they gophers?
Badgers.
Badgers? Okay, the badgers.
I think they're
That
badgers.
the
Yeah.
whatever, the married Australian couple was constantly bickering with each other, but you could tell they love each other. They were great. Mr. Beaver, Mr. and Mrs. Beaver. I'm reading it right in front of me. I don't know why.
That's what it was, Beaver. Thank
Beaver.
you.
All right, so the Beavers. The Beavers were my favorite characters in the whole thing. They were just great. The way they were, but I know a couple that's like this, where they bicker all the time, but you could tell they actually like really love each other. They just have fun, like making fun of each other, and that's what Mr. and Mrs. Beaver are. They're constantly making fun of each other, but they're doing it out of love. And they were just great characters in the whole thing. And they're excited that even if something negative happens, because according to the prophecy, it was supposed to happen, and they're waiting for the 4 children or whatever to come and save the kingdom of Narnia. And yeah, like I said, there's like a ton of religious undertones to it. They probably brought I haven't read the books, but I bet you in the books it's probably a lot more apparent than it is here, because I'm sure because Disney has to go and make sure that people aren't upset when they go and watch the movie, took a lot of crap out. I'm sure they did. I'm sure there was a lot more religious undertones of this that were taken out of this, which is fine. Because I don't know if I really am comfortable with too much religious, like how much of the Bible you're gonna rip off of this? Really? That got me a little uncomfortable with. I mean, I know C.S. Lewis was a practicing Christian, and he wrote Mere Christianity, and he really pushed the Christian religion on his radio show, and he was an evangelist in a lot of ways. But at the same time, it's like, then Disney should have pulled all of it out of it maybe, because it's like, you didn't if you're gonna you're not I don't trust Disney to handle it. I don't trust them back then to handle it, and certainly as fuck they don't want them to handle it now.
You know what's ironic is that when you're talking about him being into Christianity, do you know the person that converted him or over to Christianity?
Was it
Hey,
Paul?
Yes, the person we're gonna be talking about next.
Yeah, so, yeah, and the fact that they were friends and were contemporaries, so I'm not surprised. Um, yeah, it's, yeah, 'cause he actually did a radio show where he would talk about being a Christian and the Christian beliefs and the benefits of being a Christian and all that. And that's what Mere Christianity ended up becoming, is they took his talks from the radio show that he had, and he went in and, like, edited them up a little bit to make them more suitable for a book, and that's what the book is, which apparently that's what it seems what a lot of radio hosts do. They just take the things that they talked about on the air and turn it into a book. Maybe I should do that. And the BM book coming out next year, and it will have what me and Mike have to say about this movie among no, we won't. Well, actually, we might one day we might do a book, but my point is though, this is a good movie. If you haven't seen the Chronicles of Narnia, the first one, I do recommend going to see it. Just don't be surprised when you're like, "Oh, yeah, I think I read that in the Bible."
So thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All right.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs down. I'm gonna give this glowing review, but you know what? Don't go yeah, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Okay. All right. So I'm glad you started talking about, how things might have been removed that were religious, because here's the thing is that what brought this topic to mind is that as a kid, I always wanted to read the Chronicles of Narnia. I had the whole series, but I never got very far into it. I always read the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's a quick, easy read. I started Prince Caspian and got bored with it, and then I went to the Voyage of Dawn Treader, and read a little bit of that, but just never came back to it. So at a young age, I didn't get very far. Fast forward to now, and I've been doing a lot more reading, and even if it's a kids series, I dedicated myself to actually finishing it. Like honestly, like a few nights ago, I read through Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator because why? I had read them as a kid. I wanted to see what they actually were, so it put me back a couple days. Big deal. Um, so I've now read through the whole series, and it's interesting because I'm going to jump ahead, and um, they don't take a lot of the religious stuff out. In
So
fact, they leave it. They leave pretty much all of it in.
see,
To where
I would have thought that even in 2005, the Walt Disney Company would. Why is somebody using the garage door at 9 o'clock at night? I record over the garage. It sucks. I don't know if you can hear it or not. If not, then that was just complete silence, and you're wondering why I'm freaking out over it. Uh, I thought even with 2005 Walt Disney Company that they would be pulling like pulling stuff out and worrying about it. Oh no, what are the people gonna think? But if it's like nowadays, they wouldn't Disney would not make this movie.
No, and what floored me is that when you get to the 3rd movie, sorry to jump ahead here, when you get to the 3rd movie, they actually leave the part in where as the kids are going back, I think it's the 3rd movie, they ask if they're ever gonna see Aslan again, and he says that you will see him because at the 3rd movie, at this point, the kids can't go back. Um, they'll never go back to Narnia, and I'm gonna say possibly because yeah, they do on the 7th volume, but that's something special. Um, but Aslan tells them that they will encounter him in their world, but under a different name. And they acted
So they're implying that Aslan is Jesus.
yes, and they left that actually in the movie as well to that line, which is quite shocking.
They must have had some kind of contract where there was certain stuff that had to be left in because I'm sorry, the Walt Disney Company, even like they got worse and worse and worse and worse throughout the years, and it's just like I mean, maybe it's because I've been badgered by them for over 20 years of their nonsense that maybe I'm just kind of turned off to it. But like, yeah, if the Chronicles of Narnia movies were done by number one, Disney wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do them. They just
Mm,
wouldn't. They would say nope, we don't want them, and then like Universal or somebody would pick them up.
mm.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Is like, and if they kept it 20 years ago, if they kept everything, then more power to them. I'm glad they did because I was like, I bet you if I read it, it would probably be a lot more religious undertones. But according to you, it's all there. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much all there. Now, I'm gonna say this about the movie. I love the attention to detail that they gave this movie based
Yep.
on the books, but I don't like the lack of attention to detail that they gave this movie based on the books at the same time. It does a really good job of capturing what's going on in the books and a good amount of the images. But there's one thing that pisses me off about this movie, like to a massive degree, and that's in the books. C.S. Lewis makes it clear that every time they go into the wardrobe, they leave the door open because, and I believe to quote it as best I could, it would be silly to lock yourself in a wardrobe. However, out of the like 3 times they go into the wardrobe, 2 of which when they come out, the door is completely closed. It ignored one of the biggest lines in the book, just totally pretended like it wasn't there. And that kind of set me off on it. Um, Now getting that out of the way, as far as just a movie, an enjoyable movie, it does a good job of that.
Mm.
And it feels it feels like a children's version of Lord of the Rings, but it's to a level where, as an adult, you're not gonna have a problem enjoying it.
It shows the level that Lord of the Rings is at, because it's like, this is the children's version of Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones was the TV version of Lord of the Rings. And then they did a TV version of Lord of the Rings, which sucked, apparently. Tell me in the comments if it's good or not, but I heard it sucked.
And the D&D movie is the stupid version of Lord of the Rings, which is so tragic. But anyway, yeah, so I would say that Chronicles of Narnia is a definite thumbs up, or I basically Lion which of the Wardrobe is a definite thumbs up. Um, Now one thing I didn't ask you, Ben, that I should have asked you was, based off of this first movie, would you recommend continuing with the series?
Yes. And as far as I know, they have the same actors and everything too, right?
Yes, they do.
Which is really hard to do because those kids are gonna get older.
Now, did you continue with the series?
I did years ago. I did watch all 3 of them at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, after watching the first one, I'd say yes, definitely continue with the series. Now, what I'm going to say next is that I did continue with the series and I read the books. And Prince Caspian, I did not like that book. The movie, watching Prince Caspian is horrible, a horrible experience, and it's not really a kids movie. It's more feels like Lord of the Rings because it's actually a pretty violent movie for a kids movie. Voyage is actually pretty good. However, they write themselves into a massive problem with the Voyage, in that they introduce a character for the fourth book at the ending by name, which that character doesn't interact with the one of the characters from book 3 until they're in a specific situation, but yet they're already friends and know each other, which is a massive problem. It was kind of like one of those Easter eggs, that it is good would have come back to bite them. However, they they could still continue with it for the most part, because by the end of the third book, these 4 kids that are in this first one, they're told they can't come back. So it doesn't matter at that point how old those kids are right now. They won't be in the 4th, 5th, or 6th movie.
Something they do a 4th, 5th, and 6th movie.
Well, yeah, or maybe it's just say that they're gonna be in the 5th movie, but they could be older. They could be like the aged version when they went back through the wardrobe, because I don't think the 5th one really specifies when exactly it takes place, but does take place like between the first book when they leave and when they're kings. Um, so they could get away with it. The problem they're gonna run into is, dude, I cannot think of the actor's name that's in the third one. Uh, Adam Drexler. I don't know what is his name, dude. Adam Diver or no, Will Poulter. Dude, I was so not close to that. Will Poulter is in the third one.
Okay.
He would end up having to be in the fourth one at the same age he was in the third one. So that's where you're going to run into a problem. Other than that, they could pull it off to continue the series.
I don't think you're going to. I heard it like that Disney kind of, and it's good. It's the new Disney. They decided that they don't want to continue on with it, and then I think Fox got the rights, and then Disney bought Fox
Yeah,
or something like that. It was some ridiculousness with it.
yeah. So it's unfortunate, but I think that 7 movies would be overkill anyway.
Yeah,
So
it's a little late to be going back into it anyways. They would have to do it like they did with Harry Potter, where they just like went straight into movie after movie after movie after movie after movie.
yeah, exactly. So there we go. So 2 thumbs up, and based off the first one, 2 recommendations to continue.
Yes, I think you'll watch the first one, you'll enjoy it, and then you're gonna wanna watch the other one. The
Yep,
other 2.
yep.
Yep.
All right, so you ready for the next one?
Yep.
And it's up.
The Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring is a 2001 epic fantasy adventure film directed by Peter Jackson. It is the first installment in the Lord of the Rings film trilogy based on the 1954 novel The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. The film was produced by Barry M. Osborne, Fran Walsh, Peter Jackson, and Tim Sanders, with a screenplay by Walsh, Jackson, and Philippa Boyens. The film stars Elijah Woods, Ian McGellen, Viggo Mortensen, Sean Astin, Kate Blanchett, Orlando Bloom, John Rice Davies, Billy Boyd, Dominic Mahonigan. Monaghan? Oh god, that's a big one. Liv Tyler, Hugo Weaving, Christopher Lee, and Sean Bean. It is based on God, I'm so tempted to just make up a story here because everybody knows the Lord of the Rings.
Jeez. Tell the Terminator story.
The story is about a killer robot that is sent back in time to kill John Connor, played by Elijah Wood.
Nice.
It is set in the fictional Middle Earth. The Dark Lord Sauron forged the One Ring to rule all other rings of power. After losing it in a battle, the ring is eventually found by the Hobbit Bilbo Baggins. Which, if you read The Hobbit or watch the Hobbit movies, read the book. It's a lot better. You'll hear that story. But in this one, he passes it on to his nephew Frodo Baggins. The wizard Gandalf discovers the ring's true nature and urges Frodo to leave the Shire, accompanied by his friend Samwise Gamgee and all the rest of them, Pippin and all that. It's if you know the story, I don't know why I'm going through it. Everybody knows this fucking story. If you don't know the Lord of the Rings, go look it up on Wikipedia. It's like when I did the one for Star Wars, and people are like, "Why are you describing Star Wars?" I'm like, you know what? You're right. Why am I describing this movie that everybody's seen?
Okay, so I did the regular version, Ben did the extended version. So my version was almost 3 hours long.
Oh, you
Uh,
lucky boy.
and you got I think the big series are Star Wars, Star Trek, and Lord of the Rings. And based off of my taste, I'm always going to gravitate towards Lord of the Rings because I'm more into that fantasy, knights and dragons and wizards and things like that. I grew up on that. Um, as far as the regular version goes, I remember watching this in the theater and just sitting there stunned when the credits rolled up to where I couldn't leave the theater. I tend to sit through the credits just in case, but this one I just wanted to stay for a bit because I was just blown away at that time. I think that when you watch this movie, it's definitely a very enjoyable movie. There's parts where it slows down, there's parts where it's sped up. Everyone's seen this movie, so it doesn't matter. They get to the Fellowship of the Ring, and next thing you know, the Fellowship is broken. It really goes by fast. Um, so unfortunately, I haven't read the books on these yet. I do have them, and I will get to them. So I don't know the full differences currently, but I'm looking forward to finding out. However, when you watch this movie, it feels like you're going to have to make the investment into it. Like you get through the first one, and there's just this obligation that you got to get through all of them. Um, you can't. It's like a bag of Lay's chips. You can't eat just one. You have to do it. So I really like that because it just draws you into that world, and you want to find out what happens. I do think that there's two characters that really stand out in this, and that's Sam Wise Gamgee because of how well I believe Sean Austin does that character. He is probably the best actor in the whole movie.
I made a promise, Mr.
Yeah.
Furrow. I've made a promise.
That line right there hits so hard. It's
Don't
great.
you lose him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't intend to, Mr. Frodo. I don't intend to.
It's that memorable.
Yeah.
So the other character that stands out is Pippin because of the fact that he's such a disaster. Like the scene where he knocks over the helmet and then knocks over the whole suit of armor, and they're just listening to it drop down, and you could just see in his face. He did a great job of that part. You can just see in the spaces, oh crap, with every single hit as it goes down.
Billy Boy. Oh boy. The actor who plays Pippin is Billy Boy. And I I'm sorry, I'm jumping into my thing for a second. I wanted to kill him. I'm like,
That's why he's so
good. I know. I know. It's great. I'm like, "Oh my god, you idiot. Put the fire out. You're cooking breakfast? You fucking morons."
Yeah. He knows how to do that character so well that you love that character and you hate that character because you know he's always gonna screw stuff up.
It's like, good morning, Mr. Frodo. Here, we made some extra breakfast for you." And he's like, "What are you doing? That makes smoke, you moron. We're gonna know we're here."
So I definitely say watch this movie. You will feel the obligation to watch the other ones afterwards. So make sure you're ready for that investment. Now that's based off of the regular version. So thumbs up for me. Time to go over to Ben to see if he feels the same about the extended.
Yes, I watched the extended edition, which my chat GPT, I think, said it best. Watching if you are doing the regular version, you are watching The Lord of the Rings. If you do the extended edition, you are experiencing Lord of the Rings. And it was certainly a 4-hour long experience where there was a lot of stuff you can I don't know what they cut out for the standard edition because it's been so long since I watched it, but I can kind of tell by certain parts of like as an editor what I would have cut. Not that there was a ton like the extended edition though is still good. And there's still parts and story beats that keep you interested, and if you do really like Lord of the Rings, which I do, I'm not a like, it's not my favorite series, but it is a favorite series, if that makes sense, and I love the world building. I've read the first book. I actually read, I read half of I read The Hobbit, and I read half of Lord of the Rings. I read The Fellowship of the Ring and half of The Two Towers. And if you read The Fellowship of the Ring, you'll notice that J.R.R. Tolkien doesn't really leave a lot of room for interpretation. This is what the door looks like. This is what the city looks like. This is what this character looks like.
Yeah.
It's, the people in the design department over at the movie had an easier job because they just had to read the book to learn what this thing's supposed to look like, and they don't have to make it up in their head. Because he's very descriptive about how he wants stuff to look like in his fantasy world. And it builds this gigantic fantasy world, and you have all these great characters. Like you have the dwarf who like when he's in love with the elf the elf queen.
Mhm.
Was she the queen of the elves?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Kate,
Agreed.
Kate Blanchett's character. And he's like, I asked her for 1 strand of her hair. She gave me 3. Oh, I just wanted to stare at her. He's like in love with this well, and I know what it's like when you see a woman who's very pretty and you just enjoy looking at them. I do get that of just the enjoyment of like it's just like looking like looking at art in a way. It's like looking like how somebody could look at a painting for hours. It's like how can you keep staring? It's like she's pretty. I don't know. You're creepy. Ah, shit. Never mind. But he's almost at that point where he's, like, creepy with the Elf Queen, and she's like but she has this magic, so she probably enchanted him a little bit because she has some negative she's got some evilness to her,
Yeah.
and they show that. I don't know how much they show of it in the regular version, but the extended edition, like
They sure are getting possessed. And
yeah,
that
yeah.
I think that's one of the cheesiest parts of the whole movie.
Yeah, Frodo offers her the ring, and all of a sudden, like, all the darkness in her comes out, and she's like, "Oh," and they all say the same thing, which is true. If the whole movie's about addiction and power and what you would do with absolute, power and, what people who have an addiction to power or addiction to drugs are like. I mean, you have, what is that? The Gollum. I was remembering his real name, but Gollum is following them around. Spiegel, yeah, because Spiegel, was his Hobbit name, and now he's Gollum, and the quote unquote drug addiction, if you will, of the ring took all his life out of him. And now he's just all about the ring. He's obsessed with the ring. And then you see the dark side come out of Bilbo, where Bilbo's almost ready to attack Frodo to take the ring back. The queen, the elf queen, is ready to kill him to take the ring. The one guy,
War
oh, what's that?
Boromir?
Yeah, Boromir. He's that guy. That guy's also in Lord. He's also in Game of Thrones, and he dies in like the first episode. So like he's known as the guy who's in a. If you see him in like a fantasy movie or TV show, he's probably going to die first.
Gotcha.
And he like yeah, he tries to take the ring from Frodo, and they all like, and it shows like the the mental gymnastics you will do with yourself.
Yeah.
Just
And
say, like,
it goes
"It's
great.
okay to do this. It's okay to do this because if I have the ring at first, and they know it. That's what makes some of the better characters, they know their limitations. Like Gandalf says, "If you give me the ring at first, I will do good things with it at first."
Yeah.
'Cause he knows, at first, I'm gonna be a good with this thing, but it's going to eat at me, and I'm going to wanna do all of a sudden I'm going to want everybody to worship me and I'm going to want everybody to call me their God, that type of thing. If you're getting religious with it, but that's like, it's one way to look at it though. It's like if you were, um, the story of Daniel, where he's off in Babylon and they have this gigantic statue of the king of Babylon, the bow to it. It's the same thing of like that he would become visually. Gandalf is saying, I will become the king of Babylon if you give me this ring. I will have so much power and I will abuse it. And
Yeah.
all the good characters know that, and they still get even the Queen of the Elves. She gets
Yeah.
tempted, but then she stops the temptation and she says, "I just passed the test."
Yeah, and I gotta say, that elf mistress part that you're talking about there, um, I did say that was the cheesiest part in the movie, but when you go to the part with Bilbo Baggins where he's like, "It's mine," and he gets that look, that was so well done.
Yeah, and it's like
That was, like, greatest part for that guy right there.
and yeah, and it's great special effects where all of a sudden they got the black coming out of their eyes, and it's done so that the computer animation is done so well, it just melds into the scene, and it's not like all of a sudden there's a computer effect. Like if they did this in the 90s and they tried to do the same effect, it would look like shit. But actually, and the fact that these movies are as old as they are
Mhm.
says a lot about. I mean, now you could probably make Lord of the Rings without having a single actor on set. You just
Yeah.
get like, Google Flow going or whatever or Kling, I think is the major model now. You
Mhm.
just get the newest version of Kling going and you can like make a whole movie. There's movie studios who are ready to do this. It's because of these contracts with like, well, if you ever do want an actor and you want one from the union, you can't use AI. I
Yeah.
was like, well, let's see how long that lasts. Because you can make a whole movie now using AI. And it doesn't take a full 2 weeks to do one scene like it used to when they used to do computer generated stuff. Remember like Toy Story, that classic story of Toy Story where they let the computer run it for 20 hours straight to do 1 5-second clip or something like that. It was a
Mhm.
ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Now you could do in 20 hours, you can make an entire movie series.
Mhm.
Might not be any good, but you can make one.
Well, come on, are things any good these days anyway?
Oh, that's true. I mean, you look at today's entertainment and it's like, they're already I mean, the one good thing I see coming out, I mean, we will, talk about movie series, and I did mention Harry Potter already, but they're doing a Harry Potter TV series, and people are complaining about the dumbest stuff. If you watch the trailer for it, I'm gonna be jumping on Harry Potter just for a second. On the Harry Potter trailer for the TV show, they show him where he's getting verbally abused by his aunt.
Mhm.
I hear that people are having a huge problem with this, and I'm like, "Oh, it's because of the verbal abuse that the aunt gave him." They're probably thinking it's triggering and she went too far. No, they changed the race of one of the characters.
Yeah. That
That's what
happens
you're
a lot.
upset about. I'm like, "Oh, if I was gonna be a bit upset about anything, it would be the fact that the aunt is shown in the scene berating her nephew, saying that he will never accomplish anything in life, and he's a loser, and he should just accept it." I don't know, those aren't the exact words she's using, but that's what she's bragging and she's dragging him down. And I'm like, if anything would upset me, that would be the thing that would upset me because, well, maybe that's a little too rough. You shouldn't be showing and then it didn't upset me, but I'm saying if anything would have upset me, it would have been that. No, it's because the character is supposed to be they're not a black characters or something. I forget what it was. There was some reason, and it's a bullshit reason to be upset with the thing. All right,
Mhm.
back to Lord of the Rings. That is what ruined the Lord of the Rings TV show, by the way. People complained about it, and Amazon listened, and they made all these stupid changes, and then I never watched the TV show, but I heard the TV show, it's some people either really love it because they are Lord of the Rings super fans, or they're casual fans like I am, and they didn't like it.
Mm, gotcha.
Yeah, because but back to the Lord of the Rings, great movie series. Do I wanna watch The Two Towers? Yes. Do I really wanna watch the extended edition? Probably not, but if we are going to continue on with this movie series, I'm probably going to be doing all the extended editions, I'm assuming.
I don't think we'll go on with it. I don't think we're gonna do go on with it. So
Because it is one of those things you do wanna keep watching it because The Lord of the Rings is supposed to be one complete story, just it's literally only split up because it's so effing long.
yes,
That's because it's supposed to be split up. It's just split up because literally when the books came out, the book company asked Tolkien to split the books up because otherwise they're gonna be doing like 2,000-page volumes or something. You know, it's like, "We don't wanna have a book this big. Did you know that you could probably split this into 2 books?" And they ended up splitting it into 3, I think, or something along those lines. And
yeah.
it was the company the book company's idea to split it into 3 parts.
Mhm.
And it's because of that, it is now considered to be 3 parts, but it is one story. It's
Mhm.
like you have the Old Testament and New Testament is one story. This is the Lord Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and The Return of the King are one story.
Yeah.
When I went to see I went to see all 3 of these movies in the theater.
Mhm.
When I went to go see The Return of the King, there was a standing ovation in the movie theater.
That's just weird when that happens.
I'm like, "You know the people who made this aren't here."
Yeah, that's just weird.
I could understand if, like, even, like, somebody who was, like, a minor character, like, not to pick on Billy Boyd again, but if Billy Boyd was in the audience, "Hell yeah, Pippin's here, let's all applaud, great job, dude, what a great movie you were in." But there's nobody's there. These
Yeah.
people are having a standing ovation, and I'm like, "It was good, I enjoyed it." And I applaud too because everybody else in the room was doing it, and I would have felt weird being, like, one of these maybe 1 or 2 people who's not applauding, so I guess I fell into the crowd, which I really shouldn't do, but, um, I did applaud, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, yeah, like I said, there's nobody here." Then it had all these fake endings. Do you remember the fake endings at the end of Return of the King?
No, I don't remember fake endings.
Oh, the movie coulda ended, like, 5 times. And they just kept extending it, and extending it, and extending it, and it's like, "Oh, I'm back. I'm back, and, there's Gandalf, and there's my uncle, and there's my friends. Oh, we're all back together. Perfect. Let's end the movie. Oh, there's more. Oh, okay, now he's saying goodbye to some more people. Okay, end the movie. Oh, there's more."
Uh, it's kinda like I don't remember which bar it is, but he's walking through all the areas with I wanna say it's like the Yoshis behind him or something, and then you see everybody in that area, and the next area, you see everybody that he's gotta say bye-bye to everybody.
That might have been Mario World.
I don't know. I don't think it was Mario World, I don't know, but
I
it's
never
been
beat Mario World, so that's why I'm thinking it might have been that. I made all the way to Bowser in Mario World, and I never beat the game.
yeah, I beat it way too many times in my life.
But yeah, so, that is, I get a thumbs up for Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition. It's long, but if you've read the book, you'll get a lot of satisfaction in seeing a lot of stuff from there's still stuff missing,
Mhm.
but not a heck of a lot. And anything that was missing in the trilogy, I'm pretty sure they made up for it when they did the Hobbit trilogy,
Mhm.
because
He's The Hobbit, don't get me started.
dude, I was on an airplane watching The Hobbit, the 3rd Hobbit movie, and the movie was so bad that 3 people got up and walked out.
Exactly.
Love that joke.
No, seriously, I remember watching that 3rd movie of The Hobbit, and it's just a 1 3-hour long battle, that's all it is.
I read The Hobbit, and I'm like, The Hobbit is a 300-page not even, I think it's, like, less than 300 pages. It's not a very long book. It's a
Yeah.
children's book. The Lord of the Rings is for adults. The Hobbit is for kids, and it's a kid's book that they turn into 3 movies that have extended editions, that are 3 to 4 hour long versions, so there's 12 hours pulled out of a 300-page book. And I'm like, yeah, you that's because they pulled stuff that they didn't do in The Lord of the Rings, and they pulled characters that they didn't have in The Lord of the Rings so they could have more people in there. They had to have Liv Tyler, even though her character is not even in the damn thing. They had to have so they have star power. Oh, Liv Tyler's in it. Okay. What has she been up to lately, by the way?
Hopefully nothing. I don't like her.
Yeah, I remember she was, like, big for a little bit because she was Steven Tyler's, like, illegitimate daughter or something like that, and then I'm like, "Okay." Um, and then she did, like, a couple of their music videos, or she did one of their music videos, and then she did some movies, and then did a movie where they had maybe the music video was from the movie she was in. That was an Armageddon. That was the one where the world was
Yeah.
gonna end, and they had to send a rocket up into space. And yeah, I don't think she's been doing much lately. And I don't remember ever being that, "Oh, geez, Liv Tyler's in a movie, I gotta go watch it." Never had that cross my mind. Is she pretty? Yes. Is she somebody I go, "Oh my god, I gotta put her poster on my" no, never felt that way. Even if I was a young man back in my and I was, when linoleum made me horny. That's a Bucky. Oh,
Ah,
speaking of Buffy references, this is way off topic, I'm sorry. Nicholas Brandon passed away, who played that happened over the last 2 weeks. He played Xander on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He literally died 2 days after Hulu announced that they are not doing the Buffy reboot.
oh, that
So,
it broke his heart.
I don't think they casted him anyways. He had problems, I think, afterwards. He was the Screech of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Gotcha.
So he had about a lot of the same problems that Dustin Diamond had, where he was like, "I'm the least popular character on this very popular TV show." I liked Xander. It actually was one of my favorite characters because I'm a man watching this, and he's one of the few male characters in the show.
So,
But, yeah, he passed away. That was sad. So the chances of a Buffy reunion movie are pretty much shot. Not that I was expecting one. Um, but yeah, so back to Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, I highly recommend Lord of the Rings.
mhm,
Really do.
yeah.
Read it. Read The Hobbit. If you read nothing else from the series, read The Hobbit. The Hobbit will number 1, it's better than watching those stupid movies, and number 2, it will give you all the background information that you need,
Mhm,
and it's so short. It's such a short book. Like I said, it's a children's book. It's 300
yeah,
pages.
yeah.
Mike, you could with how you've been reading lately, you'll knock that out in a day.
Yeah,
If
probably a couple days.
yeah. If you wanted to, it would be one of those books, like, if you get so into it that you can't put it down, you will knock it out in a day.
Well, it's more of is am I reading it on a work day or not?
Oh, okay. Is that what you're doing now instead of playing video games during the downtime at work? You're now
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty much just reading now. Like what?
right,
Yeah.
you probably need a video game break too, because you play a lot of games, and I know that when I play a lot of games, I get burnt out on it.
Well, it's kind of like I've gotten through my list, my backlog list.
That'll do it. Dude,
So,
I still have a Virtual Boy that I gotta play with. Did I tell you I bought a Virtual Boy?
oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, I got the so I think I mentioned it in an episode a couple of times back, but if for since only 2 people listen to this, you probably have never heard me talk about this before. Nintendo Online, I have their expansion pack. It comes with the Virtual Boy games. I haven't touched it yet. I've had this now for a month. The Virtual Boy $100 plastic shell that you could put the thing in the Nintendo Switch into and play Virtual Boy games and get the authentic feel. I'm yet to play with it because I got so many other things, including that new Genesis I barely played with either, because I
Mm,
got so much going on. I don't have time.
yeah.
Um, are we done with the movie? Can we move along?
I think we are done. I guess I should stop sharing, huh?
Yeah.
There we go.
So lately, I've been I found a YouTube channel where it's this ex Jehovah Witness, and he
Mhm.
reviews Jehovah Witness videos.
Huh.
And I've just been, like, obsessed with this. I've been watching this, like, all week. And number 1, they are the most evil people. Not the people themselves, the organization that runs it is an evil organization. And it has to do with this whole thing of excommunicating people. They call it, what do they call it? Defellowshipping them. And it is the coolest thing. There are parents who do not talk to their kids who do not talk to their parents. Um, Just people who, like, the whole family is torn apart, all
So like
because someone
politics.
what's that?
Like politics.
Exactly. And it is a cult mentality where if you do not agree with me, dude, I have people who are complete leftists who think Donald Trump is the worst person on the face of the planet, and I will gladly have lunch with them. I'll hang out with them. I have no problem with that. You just know that we don't talk politics. Just don't talk
Yeah.
politics.
Mhm.
That's all. And I'm gonna go like, "Oh, well, you're wrong." I don't give a shit, honestly. I know the war going on. I don't know how much I like Trump right now. Um, so it's like, but but people are like this with politics. Imagine this with you have a wacky religion that is kind of looked down on by everybody who isn't a member of it.
Mhm.
The moral of the story is this: if you know somebody who used to be a Jehovah's Witness, if they have just left the religion, be very compassionate because they have given up the ability to talk to any friends or family who are currently still part of that cult.
Yeah, that's great.
And that might be like they can't talk to their parents, they can't
Yeah.
talk to their kids, they can't talk to their brothers and sisters. My high school crush was a Jehovah's Witness,
Mhm.
and I talked to her, like, when Facebook came around, I looked up everybody, including her. And I'm like, "Oh, how's it going?" And we're talking back and forth, and I'm like, "Oh, so are you still a Jehovah Witness?" And she tells me, "No. I went and I left after high school, and I moved down to Florida." And I said, "Oh, wow. I heard that when that happens, you get excommunicated." Because I knew about it back then, but, like, I know a lot more about it now, but I'm just remembering this conversation I had with her. And my laundry's done right in the middle of my story. Um, so I'm talking to her, I'm, like, asking her, like, "So what happened?" And she said, like, she got excommunicated, but her mother still talks to her,
Mhm.
even though she's
Yeah.
not supposed to. It's like her mother will send her, like, emails,
Uh-huh.
and they hide it from the father and all this other stuff. But that's how it is. So
Yeah.
even if your parent wants to break the rules and still talk to their kid, which is a natural instinct to want to talk to your child,
Mhm.
they have to do it on the down low.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not healthy.
Yeah. Imagine if you're in a government where that's one of the rules. We thought,
Mhm.
we need to free these governments, and we need to free people, and, like, that's probably one of the arguments that people use for the Iran war.
Mhm.
Well, how about these people who are living in our own country or are part of this wacky organization?
Mhm.
So, I didn't wanna start talking about that. I didn't wanna go off on a tangent, but that was just something I was thinking about because, like I said, I've been kind of deep diving into it and learning more and more about how crazy they made a whole series of videos
Mhm.
about these 2 girls who were friends, and one of them convinces the other one to become a Jehovah's Witness, and it plays like a lesbian love story. It is actually kinda cute.
Mhm.
It's like Jade and Nita, I think it's called, and it's like th they have this chemistry where you're like the whole time like, "Will you 2 just kiss already?"
That sounds like them.
Uh, so Mike, is there anything else we need to talk about? We talked about our movies, we talked about the Genesis, we talked about people who talk about Genesis, but in a different way. Uh,
No, next week we're gonna talk about losing teeth.
Losing teeth, yes, because of good candy.
Good candy, good Easter candies.
Did you go to the mall and sit on the Easter Bunny's lap and tell him what you want for Easter? Is that what they do? What
I
the hell do you do with that?
Easter bunny sits on my lap. How do you think the eggs appear?
And 9 months later, little Mikeys are running around out of those eggs. Uh,
Yep.
he fertilized them. All right, folks, is there anything else we need to talk about? We're landing early today.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. I got laundry to do. You heard it go off.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if we're ending early because I forgot there's one that we recorded. Okay. Well, if we're all set, Mike, you want the final word?
11s.